Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all doing fantastic, and that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up with daily cryptocurrency news. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. In what might be, this is just weird. In what might be one of the weirdest things in the cryptocurrency space, the news that always ends up being popular is always the weird stuff. It's never like the whales buying up, and I said once again, for those who aren't paying attention, the bulk of cryptocurrency news that actually means something, I try to bring to you as often as I possibly can. Whales buying, money moving here, this country's doing something, this corporation, you name it, buying up Bitcoin, hoarding Ethereum. There's not a lot left on crypto exchanges. But the cryptocurrency space has a very weird history, just in general. When it comes to actual, anyway, you'll see, because this was the most popular news story of the day, and dare I say, the next couple of weeks, because I know that everyone's going to be talking about this when everyone's actually missing exactly what's going on, but I digress. Coinbase CEO, his name is Brian Armstrong, has announced the successful completion of the first cryptocurrency transaction managed entirely by artificial intelligence, or AI. In a recent post on Twitter, he shared that AI bots made the transaction without human intervention. The transaction involved one AI agent, essentially a bot designed to perform specific tasks, using cryptocurrency tokens to interact with another AI agent. The goal of the AI to AI transaction was to acquire AI tokens, data strings that allow algorithms to learn from and adapt to new information. He said, and I quote, "They used tokens to buy tokens," end quote. That is his actual quote. When I talk about that, this is news, and then why it became really popular news is because a lot of people, whether you want to listen to me or not, a lot of people around the world are confused as to what the current level of AI that we have is. People are under the assumption that the AI that we currently possess and use is something similar to Terminator or some 1980s sci-fi movie, or that kind of thing. AI as we currently have it right now is basically just a large amount of data or data learning, where you basically push as much as you can into the machine, and then the machine kind of basically hallucinates or does what it thinks it needs to do based off of the information that you've given it. The problem is that we've had this since around 2009. For those of you who don't know what trading bots are, they're usually bots that people teach to trade for them. When you talk about high frequency trading, like in the stock market and also in crypto, that's not being done by people. That's being done by bots who have a very simplified form of AI. The issue is, now hear me once again, now I said, for those of you who will listen, hello. For those of you who won't, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. But the other part is that people in crypto, the higher ups, if you will, are looking for the next big thing. The entire discussion, you might have noticed, of Web3 has kind of, for the most part, kind of disappeared. Every single cycle, there's something that people create, promote, talk about as the next gigantic thing that's going to take the market into the stratosphere and things like that. And this cycle, it's going to be AI and AI tokens. AI tokens doesn't mean anything. You don't have to teach a token or a blockchain how to do a specific thing that you can already do yourself, or that you can already train a normal bot to do with very simplified commands. The idea for a lot of people is that this new form of AI, artificial intelligence within the cryptocurrency space, is going to allow for automatic payments and instantaneous this, and this will be able to happen automatically. And the problem is that once again, we already have all of this stuff. These are keywords that people keep throwing out. Now, for those of you who listened, I assume you understand. For everyone else who's rolling their eyes and is desperate to go buy some more Nvidia stock, when I told you this summer that it was going to crash because the entire AI thing is one gigantic bubble, and we will not get to where you think AI is until the next 10 to 15 years at least. This was the most popular news story of the day. Like that was literally it. This is an article from Forbes. It says, get ready. Coinbase CEO reveals mind-blowing AI update that could be a Bitcoin and crypto price game changer. It won't do anything dramatically different than what we currently have right now. People who already want to trade in high frequency are already using bots. Anyone who wants something to be automatically executed and or done within the cryptocurrency space or market, they already use smart contracts. That's the point of a smart contract. But the problem is that a lot of people in crypto have no idea what anything is, and they're simply throwing their money into anything. Do you remember at the beginning of this year? I'm sure a lot of you don't. Remember the beginning of this year where a whole bunch of AI coins popped up, and I told you that they're not real AI. Like, it's literally, you can create and say and promote anything about anything and say that you're creating a bunch of coins that are Web3, that are decentralized, that are DeFi, that are AI, and it's not it's not what it is at all. This isn't a mind-blowing AI update. This is literally, they used bots that we've already had since 2009, and I assume technology, so therefore maybe they've gotten bottier. And that's all that it was. And they're touting it as Coinbase is part of the AI revolution because that's the only thing to actually make stock prices rise now, is that someone has to think that you're into AI, you're creating AI, or that you're making the chips for AI companies. Because people are so easily distracted and don't actually do any research by what's going on. It's not very difficult at all. You just have to go around and read. This was incredibly popular news. Everyone was talking about it, saying that this is going to cause some kind of a revolution. And all I can basically do is, I don't know, just go read more. For the four of you, 4 people who are going to read more and learn about this, then, cool, but awesome. So Coinbase has created a revolutionary, groundbreaking, blockchain-breaking thing that no one thought would ever actually happen. It's just using bots to actually have the transactions. And we've also had that for a very long time as well. The groundbreaking part is supposed to be that it's AI to AI. Bots talk to each other all the time. It's how they move money around. That's the Coinbase is desperately trying to get back in the news and to become more popular than Binance, as they've been trying to do over the course of the last 2 years' news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in brainwashing news, I'm going to tell you what's happening, and then I'm going to tell you what's really happening. Wyoming is taking its obsession with blockchain to the next level. Governor Mark Gordon recently announced that the state is planning on launching their own stablecoin pegged to the US dollar in 2025. First, Wyoming and a number of other states have politicians who are constantly fear-mongering and trying to get everyone incredibly afraid of central bank digital currencies. Why of central bank digital currencies? Because it just seems like the thing that people want to be afraid of. The idea is that if the government's going to create a digital currency, we're going to tell them no. Why? Because central banks' digital currencies are going to track our transactions. I recently saw something online and it was almost like a fever dream. Have you ever been really, really sick and then you fall asleep and then you have those dreams and you're like, oh my gosh, I clearly have a fever because I'm having a fever dream. This discussion that they were having was basically, they don't want any government to create a central bank digital currency, but they were okay with stablecoins. Now, the whole problem is that everyone said that they don't want to be tracked. They want control over their own privacy, over who they are and what they do and yada, yada, yada. But people keep forgetting that we're in 2024 and that everything you do is already tracked. This is like the 5th time I'm saying it this year because there's so much stupidity and fear mongering going on with people who don't understand that they're already in the world that they were afraid of. Surprise! Yeah, everything you click on is tracked and connected to your IP address. You have all these other things to try and obfuscate where you're going and what you're doing and who can track you and who can look at you online. Surprise, governments can bypass that, and they have been able to bypass that for a very long time. Everywhere you walk, when you walk into a store, when you walk around your city, have you ever noticed when you walked in someplace and it's like, hey, you want to connect to the Wi-Fi? Your phone pings to the nearest tower and says that you're in that building. You are always being tracked. And then people go, well, it's not the same thing when I'm buying something. Everything you buy is tracked. Have you ever noticed that when you get ads, especially on Instagram or Facebook or anything of the sort, that they always seemingly know exactly what you've spoken about or what you bought or what you were looking at or what you and your friends were just discussing? That's why you're getting those exact specific ads over and over all the time. They know what you're looking at. They know what you want to buy. They literally know if you are hovering over something that you're thinking about buying or have had a tab open for a while, your cookies will basically, everything is tracked right now. So what a lot of politicians, and it's namely within the United States right now are doing are basically telling people that they don't want central bank digital currencies, and you shouldn't either. Why shouldn't you want them? Because with the digital currency created by the government, they'll be able to track everything that you do. For those of you who maybe if you live in America, you know what the IRS is, right? You understand that they literally, like, by decree, have access to all of your financial information. And then you sit there and you go, yeah, and that's the problem with it. And it's like, no, that problem was created around in the 60s and the 70s, maybe even in the 50s. Like, you've been a part of that system for this entire time. And now someone's telling you that some system that is just a digitized version of what we already have is going to be the problem. So a lot of states now within the United States have announced that central bank digital currencies are evil because it's the same exact system that we have now, but the government is basically, like, you know that the government's doing it, as opposed to you living carefree, skipping down the street and already having all of your information taken from you. So they're saying they're going to create their own stable coins because it's the exact same thing. What do you think happens to stablecoin transactions? Do you think that Wyoming is creating a decentralized version of a stablecoin that everyone in the state and the country is going to have complete control over? Or do you think that they're creating something because they saw that Tether is making billions of dollars from transaction fees and they want a slice of that pie? It's the second one for those of you who didn't get it. These transactions by no state are going to be decentralized. These are going to also keep track very closely of any transactions that you have or that you do. Remember a couple of years ago when people were looking through Tether and it was on Coinbase 1, people got annoyed years ago when Coinbase was freezing transactions and they were like, you can't do that, decentralization, Bitcoin's decentralized. And I'm like, you understand that they're a company. What do you think it means when they get all those licenses? What do you think the licenses are for? It's for them to be regulatorily compliant. Why do you think Circle Coin from Coinbase and Tether from Tether are still around? It's because they hold licenses making them regulatorily compliant. You think that Wyoming is about to launch a stable coin that has no one surveying it in any way, shape, or form, that they're going to let you do what you want with your own money? Wait, nope, that's the old system. It's just going to be, this is going to be laid on top of it. So there's constantly news all the time. You don't understand. I mean, it's almost daily at this point. there are some countries, but I mean, their politicians are also very slimy, and they're doing whatever they can to just try and get people to be afraid of the idea of central bank digital currencies. Didn't you think it was weird over the course of this year how every country and every bank has moved away from the term CBDC, and they're only announcing that they're going to be creating their own stablecoin? No one thought it was weird that every country is now just creating a stablecoin. Is the exact same thing. Gordon is serious about making Wyoming the first U.S. state to issue its own digital currency. The announcement came at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium, where he laid out the state's ambitious plan. The governor, who also chairs the Wyoming Stable Token Commission, said the stablecoin would be backed by U.S. Treasury bills and repurchase agreements, the same exact thing as Tether. It's to uphold the strength of the U.S. dollar. The governor didn't waste any time throwing shade, at the federal government during his speech. He criticized the government's approach to the 2007-2008 financial crisis, especially the bailouts. Yeah, of course, that's the problem. So because of the bailouts in the 2007-2008 crisis, we should create a stable coin that closely monitors and tracks every single thing that everyone has ever done. You know that when a transaction happens on a blockchain, it's there for life. Right? It's not a computer system like at a bank that someone can wipe out or clean or get rid of all that. Like, it's for life. Anywho, yeah, I think this governor is one of the people who's also been trying to scare people about central bank digital currencies. They're not any scarier than what we currently have. Banks can also already freeze your money, take your money away from you, restrict you from having access to your account. I don't. This was also very popular news, and I don't understand where the world is going, where people don't understand very basic things about life, about the world, about anything that's actually going on around them. So in the future, as I've mentioned, in like late July, we will have probably stable coins everywhere. It seems to be the thing that you can throw out to the public they don't have a problem with. When you all realize in the future exactly what decentralization means, because the world system is based off of blockchain and everything you do is written on a blockchain forever, then you'll start probably running back to Bitcoin and really understanding exactly what true decentralization actually stands for. Remember how I told you before? I was like, doesn't it seem a little weird that Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal are integrating with all these actual decentralized platforms? Didn't it seem weird when they were all jumping on MetaMask? They want your data. They want to know where you're moving your money, and they want control over it. Anywho, cool. Wyoming stablecoin. That's what the public needs. You know, not the hundreds of millions of dollars that it'll cost to actually run and maintain these things. And the money that the state is going to make from the transaction fees. Now, I'll take 10% of that back if the transaction fees are going to go to the public and to roads and to schools and to, rebuilding a whole bunch of things in the state. But guess what's probably not going to happen? That's the Wyoming news. And yeah, let's move on. I would say that I'm surprised, but I'm not. Not even a fragment of a percent of me is surprised at this. This happened a bit ago. The official Instagram account of McDonald's suffered a hack, and it was to promote a meme coin called Grimace. Yeah, there's a McDonald's meme coin called Grimace, and it's actually a scam. What? No, that's crazy. How could that have happened? Scammers took control of the fast food giant social media account, promoting something called the Grimace coin. Grimace, I think is the big purple one. I'm pretty sure. The Grimace token. And guess which chain it was on? You'll never guess. I promise you'll never guess, because this chain is completely clean and it never has any scams on it, and it never has any. Yeah, it's Solana. It was a Solana meme coin, of course. The perpetrators apparently claimed that they made $700,000 in stolen money. You want to know what's even crazier? Is that after they actually stole everyone's money, they still went back onto McDonald's Twitter account and they basically wrote like, "We scammed you." McDonald's official Instagram account was suspected to have been hacked, claiming that it had issued the meme token Grimace on Solana. The market value of Grimace rose to $25 million within 30 minutes and then fell rapidly. Yeah, Grimace is the big purple one. So the first issue is that people are so desperate to fall over themselves to believe that Solana could be anything but an actual scam. Every single scam that we've heard about over the course of this year, can you guess what chain it's been on? I'll give you one guess. It starts with an S and ends with a crap. It's Solana. Yeah, you guys, good job. I'm so shocked at everything that's been going on. So when the news popped up that of course McDonald's would be, the best chain ever, making a coin on this chain that's only been used for scams over the course of the last 2 years. Of course, tons of people fell for it and jumped right into it and made tons of money. And then the people who actually had the scam, once again, they took all the money and ran away. And it says Bubble Maps confirmed that the hackers profited significantly from the scam. They even changed McDonald's Instagram bio to brag about their success. They wrote, "You have just been rug pulled. Thank you for the $700,000 in Solana." So you can say whatever you want. I don't really care. I've stopped caring a long time ago. For those of you who listen, I tip my hat to you, especially if you've been listening over the course of the last couple of years. And I know you may say, well, those are just bad actors who did something on Solana. It's not the same exact thing. Sure, keep telling yourself that. Solana, I mean, if you want to look at the last couple of videos as well without sucking your teeth and thinking that you know more, Solana has been the poster child for scams over the course of the last, I want to say like 6 or 7 months, but it's been quite consistenter than it has been before. I would give you the advice to please pay attention to where you put your money. If you hear that McDonald's or Wendy's or White Castle or any other, even Whole Foods has a new coin on Solana, I would try and think twice, or even maybe check some other place because, So Solana in Solana fashion continues to be the magnet for scams and for people to lose their money. So, yeah, awesome. Whoa, Grimace, that's crazy. I thought this was real because why would it not be, right? Everything on Solana is just completely real and people don't keep losing money from it. Okay, let's move on. Also in popular news, Sony, in partnership with something called Startail Labs or Startail, I don't know, Labs, has announced the creation of Soneium. Yeah, its first layer 2 Ethereum blockchain. Soneium, this isn't a joke either, this is also real. Soneium is designed to prioritize scalability, user friendliness, and focus on mainstream adoption because, I'm sure they're not. I hate when companies do stuff like that. Do you think that you weren't prioritizing scalability so people could use it? Do you think we thought you were making something that was unuser friendly and unusable? This is also something that you should probably steer clear of. A lot of corporations and companies are trying to create their own blockchains. And the problem is, instead of already using blockchains that already exist, now you can even have the argument and say, well, they're not using Ethereum because it's too slow. Well, they could use Cardano. They could use XRP. They could use Polygon. They could use Avalanche. And there's probably about 5 other chains that I can also say that they can also use. But they're not. They're making their own chain that they also have control over because this is how you make transaction fees from the actual thing. So another company has announced they're going to be jumping onto the blockchain cryptocurrency train to be able to release something that you don't actually even need. At launch, it's aiming to power Web3 applications, there's that word again, across various sectors, including entertainment, gaming, and finance. For those of you who don't know, Web 3 is supposed to be the thing after Web 2. I know it sounds, self-explanatory, but it's not. Web 1 was in the early 90s. Web 2 was what we're basically currently using. And Web 3 is meant to be decentralized and not controlled by anyone. That's where all the DeFi stuff comes from. Decentralized finance and DEXs. Decentralized exchanges. They're meant to be basically self-governing by the actual community, but every single company just keeps on throwing in Web3 and decentralized and DeFi and DEXs because it sounds a lot better for the future. Don't you want to use Web3 and Web4 as opposed to Web2? Don't you want to use these amazing, fantastic things that are also centralized and created by companies and basically are places for you to give your information and to give your data to and to basically also give your money to without actually having any real purpose for any of this? Because all the stuff that we can do on Web 2, we can also do on Web 3, we can also do on Web 2, because none of it is actually hyper decentralized. There are very few actual decentralized things within the space. Didn't anyone think it was kind of weird that all these DeFi companies and all these DEXs were being sued by the SEC? You can't do that if you're actually decentralized and into Web3. You don't have an office, except all of them actually do. According to Sony Block Solution Labs, Soneium is poised to bridge the gap between traditional industries and decentralized systems by leveraging Sony's global Web 2 reach. Fantastic. A number of companies have been trying to do this over the course of the last, I want to say 6, 7 or so years. Somewhere around there, a lot of companies used to get into this space before by announcing that they were going to be creating their own cryptocurrencies. And then people back then began to actually ask, because no one does anymore, are these coins going to be decentralized? And the companies would say, does anyone remember? Yeah, it's going to be on a blockchain. No. Is it decentralized? Will the public have control over the chain? We're going to work on that in the next couple of years. But for right now, Web3. And everyone was like, okay. People used to back away from these projects because they were scams. So now we have a lot of people announcing that they're going to be creating their own stablecoins. And people seem to not care, because why would you care about the future or decentralization or helping billions of people around the world? That doesn't make any sense. So now all the companies are announcing layer 2 blockchain, which lets me know, A, that this company probably has a significant investment in Ethereum. You as Sony, you don't create another blockchain on top of another blockchain unless you really trust that blockchain. And how do you trust it in 2024? You put money into it. Of course, this tells me Sony has a lot of Ether. Same thing with JP Morgan Chase. For those of you who missed it, JP Morgan Chase hates Bitcoin, but for some reason they love Ethereum. And then we found out years ago that JP Morgan, wink, probably has an enormous amount of Ethereum as well. Very popular news. This will probably be released. Very few people are going to actually use it. People are going to try and hype it up. I don't assume that they're making a coin from this. As far as the news says, it looks like they're just making a layer 2 chain. But greed is going to overcome them. They're probably going to make a Soneium coin. People are going to lose their minds and try to buy it. And then by the end of 2025, the coin's price is going to collapse, because you're going to realize that no one's playing their games, no one's using their systems, and people are simply buying actual physical PS5s than actually trying to deal with this blockchain, which is supposed to be for Web3. I know it sounds like I'm being cynical, but you really got to get it. And for those of you who don't, once again, I'm shrugging here. This happens all the time. Sony is not the first company to create their own chain, to create their own layer 2. Do you remember the end of last year where companies were already talking about layer 3s? We've barely mastered layer 1s, nonetheless layer 2s. The reason why we have layer 2s is because layer 1s are slow. So talking about creating layer 3s is already a gigantic red flag, but of course all these companies have gone hush-hush after they realized there was no actual usage and they couldn't actually build them. So Sony building their own chain. Cool. Wonderful. We'll see what I'm telling you. We'll see what happens. I give it a year and a half. By December 2025, we're probably going to have another conversation about this. And everyone's going to be like, he was right again because he's seen this 38 other times before. It's the same thing like when I told you when the companies and corporations were getting into the space. Remember when they were also asking for you to like, hey, you want to buy these socks? You want to buy this shirt and this hat? How about a Maserati keychain? It's because they want your crypto. They want you to give them your coins while they give you fabric. It's all a big ploy to get your money because they know where this system is going. Anywho, that's the Sony. Whoa, creating their own layer 2. That's definitely going to be part of the future. Not the things that we already have that are actually decentralized, or the actual people around the world who are building decentralized systems that already exist and that they're trying to make better for you and for me. No, it's definitely Sony. Sony's going to be the company that really brings decentralization and proper decentralized Web3 to the masses. It's similar to like all those stable coins everywhere. Those are definitely not going to be tracking your transactions. I do hope that you've all enjoyed and that you got something from the video. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.